Welcome everyone to The Howl. I'm Chloe Manolis, and in this episode, I sat down with POM's coach Marli Levin, POM leaders Nora, Fink, and Kailan Gogerty to discuss. In this episode, we focused on the key aspects of what makes a good team and how they make each other strive while they perform. Thanks for joining, and we hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, and welcome back to The Howl. My name is Chloe Manolis, and the producer of today's show is Ryan Antonucci, and we are very excited to have part of our POMS team, Marli Levin, Nora, Fink, and Kailan Gogerty, here in the Dispatch Podcast Studio, powered by Jets Pizza. How about you guys introduce yourselves to start us off?
My name is Marli Levin. I'm the head varsity dance coach here at Hersey.
I'm a senior on varsity dance team. I'm Nora Fink.
And I'm Kailan Gogerty. I'm also a senior on the dance team.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for coming in. Let's jump right into it.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So I'm just going to start off with a simple question. And why POMS? Like, what inspired you to become a coach?
It's a great question. So I've been dancing my whole life, dancing since I was 3 years old. And I danced at studios, and then I went and joined the dance program at my high school because I thought that was going to be a fun fit for me, and it was. And so it was a huge passion of mine. And then I went off to college and also danced, and I thought, wherever I went to teach, I would like to instill that same experience for dancers at Hersey. So that is why I decided to coach.
That's awesome. What about you, Nora?
I've also been dancing since I was 3.
Oh my gosh.
Dance has always been a part of my life. I've kind of always planned on dance always being a part of my life. So when my sister, her best friends were on dance team at Hersey, they would always talk to me being like, oh my gosh, you'd love it, like all this stuff. So I went to the games, always watched their performances, and I was like, I want to do this.
That's
and
awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
Similar to the other two, dancing since I was 3. It's been a staple in my life, kind of just stuck with it. My sister also dances, so we have that in common. And then, got to high school, and it was like, all right, orchestra and dance team, just check them off the list. It was kind of a no-brainer.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like how you guys all had very similar experiences with being dancers at a young age. It's pretty inspiring, especially for our newcoming freshmen in the building. What would you guys suggest? If they're very interested in joining POMS or dance, cheerleading or whatever. What would you guys give them suggestions in that wise?
So I think a couple things. One, I think it's really good to, like Nora mentioned, go and see the programs actually working. So we perform at all the football games in the fall. So definitely going and checking out football games would be great. And then in the winter, we travel around the local area and compete at different schools. So if you're interested in being a part of it, I would say check that out. Check out our social media at Hersey Dance Team on Twitter or on X now. X, I guess. Twitter.
Yeah.
And Instagram. So I would say look there. We put a lot of updates on there as well. And then our Husky announcements. Our clinics too for any incoming younger dancers. So if they're, teeny. If they're, I think we do in the winter, it's from ages 5 to 11. I think that's 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
6th grade. And so in that space, if they're interested in being a part of it, they should come dance with us in the winter.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
And when does that competition usually begin?
So competition season starts in October. That's when we have our tryouts, October 23 and 24 of this year. And then we compete November, December, January, awesome. And then state would be in January.
I will definitely be there
state
to cheer you guys
will
on.
Be in January.
Yes, that's right. It's all about language, Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
What have you guys learned from being a coach or being a part of the team?
You want to take that, or you want me to?
Got it, Kailan.
You guys can do it. Answer however you want.
There's so much to say. They don't know where to start.
I know there's a lot. There's a lot to say.
It's definitely been a ride. I think you learn something new every year. Freshman year, you kind of just learn of social skills is so basic, but how to connect with other people. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest one freshman year. Sophomore and junior year is still working on work ethic. I think is a big one of you're a part of a team, and what does it mean to be dedicated? What does it mean to kind of go above and beyond? And then senior year, Nora and I are captains. We've kind of had to learn leadership skills and just connecting with our friends and our peers, not only on a captain to team member relationship, but also friendships, because these friendships are going to take us a long way after college.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
feel
think?
like-
Oh, I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Oh, it's
Continue.
okay. Yeah, no, just going off of what Kailan was saying, like every year is a different like perspective of the team, and like what as you get older you start to see like that's where I was and like here I am now, and it's like the hard work that pays off, and it's like it's crazy.
So do you think, like not only like the dance aspect of it, but do you think that just being a part of the team and learning how to be like a team member definitely goes a long way in the
Oh
future?
yeah, for sure. Because like even just like at our camps over the summer, you learn like to be around different people that like you don't know, you've never danced with before. You have to learn how to adapt to different situations and learn how to connect with them, not even like on a dancer level, but also on like a friend level, like helping each other out and stuff like that.
Awesome. That's great. I love that. How do you present yourselves to be a good teammate, or how to like present yourself to be a good coach, and how can you guys help the team like influence it to be like good and like, yeah, we got this, you know?
I think that's a great question. Something that I think we do really well is the girls love to communicate with one another. And, yes, there's a lot of them, so they love to talk a lot, which is good. That's good.
That's great.
They're
It's
very
a great
close,
trait to have.
which I think is a wonderful aspect, but not only just like communicating as friends, both outside and inside of practice, but as a team, right? I think that's like the most important part is really making sure that they view every performance as they have to work together. They have to be one. And I think that that's what is so cool is when you see all of our routines, you hope that it looks like one, like we call one big unit, right? Everybody looks like they're moving at the exact same pace, et cetera. So that takes communication. And I think for me, the biggest element that I like to keep working towards with all of them is not just communication, but also leaders. And I would say that we could swap, people throughout our practices, people sometimes who learn routines over the summer who maybe like aren't necessarily the title of captain will pop in and lead as well. Like I think they are perfect, wonderful examples of leadership with my seniors. And, I hope that consistently like bleeds through our younger years as well, so they can eventually lead as well. Because again, being a leader is a super important part of, life. And so I think they do a really
100%.
great job, and that's what we hope to cultivate on our team.
That's great. That's awesome. What about you? What have like you learned? Not like just being like learning from being a teammate, but how can you, like communicate with your team members on how to make each other better? Like not criticize, but like just help each other out.
I feel like definitely what Levin was saying was like the like talking. Like I'm a very talkative person too, so being a leader, it's really hard to also like remind myself that like I need to find a good balance between working hard and also having fun. So like just staying positive is my big thing. Like we're all gonna have to do certain things at certain points at practice that not everyone's gonna love. We're gonna have to everyone's gonna have bad days,
Oh, 100%.
like even me, but like pushing through, being positive, being optimistic is really the biggest thing for me.
That's great. That's like a great trait to have, especially like in the future, like for college, work. Like you always got to keep like your head in the game and just have that mindset. Like I'm gonna get through this. Everything's gonna be okay. Like I might not like this now, but it's definitely come in handy. What about you?
Gosh, you guys touched on a lot. I think the most important thing to remember, just like being on the team, is we can't have that unit, like what Levin was saying, if we don't all, in some form or another, get along. Like you can tell when there are teams that like don't get along outside of dance.
Yeah.
And in order to like dance and have that unit mentality, we kind of have to focus on like the outside of dance relationships first, which is why I really like how we do like team bonding activities and such.
How does that work out?
They work out pretty good once we can get them scheduled. I mean, a team of 30 plus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's hard to
that's crazy.
schedule.
Yes.
But
What do you guys usually do when it comes to team bonding?
what do we got? So we do a scavenger hunt every
Oh,
year. We'll
yes.
divide into little teams, drive around. That's always fun. We were trying to go to a pumpkin patch this year, like apple picking, some
Be cute.
basic,
That
like
sounds fun.
fall
That sounds
cute activity. What else were we doing?
They do weekly team dinners.
Oh yeah,
that's
birthday games. That's always fun.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's great. I love
It's fun
that.
for me too.
Oh, I bet
It's
it
good.
is.
Yeah, team
Yeah.
dinners are fun.
Are there any specific qualities that you personally must have while being a part of the team, especially when it comes down to dancing?
I think one trait that I admire in all of our dancers is they really work to grow. Like if you were to, like you mentioned, think about all different years of your time on the program, looking at your freshman year self to your senior year self and how much you grow your skills, not only just as a dancer and actual technique and ability to perform and all of that, but also looking at who they have developed into as people. I think those are some skills that we really try and build on. But again, so much of that success and where you see a lot of that growth is because they are such good teammates to one another. And so they're encouraging each other all the time to work on their triples or work on their seconds or whatever it may be, right, in order to improve. So I think that growth is, that mindset of trying to constantly get better is really important.
Yeah, that's great. Like wanting to learn and wanting to be better is so important. Like down with for anything. Like
Anything.
You have to like know what you have to do to improve yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's just so important. What about you, Nora?
Yeah, I'd say everyone on the team is just so driven and always wanting more, and that also comes from like even when we're just like showing our little like in groups our like routine, we're all so supportive, like hyping each other up, like screaming, and that really just like
Screaming.
screaming. Like if you stand outside the dance room, you can hear from a mile away. But I think that really just keeps everyone super motivated and just so energized and just like always wanting more.
Yeah.
Just encouraging each
And
other.
does that help out, like, for example, for competitions, when you guys, like, let's say, for example, like, didn't do the best, like, other than, like, the last competition, like, what would you guys do? Like, do you still hype each other up? Like, I feel like that's so important. Like, if you're not doing so great, but your team, like, still on your side, like, you got this. Like, it's okay. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like recognizing what we did good, what we did bad, how we can improve. Working towards that is really like important, so we can be the best we can be, like constantly.
And we
like,
come
giving
back
each other like
10 times
feedback
harder.
to each other
Yes.
as well. Like, it's not like we definitely all look out for each other during dances. Like, oh, like, hey, like this is the arm. Like it's very like friendly. Like we all want each other to be our best.
I love that. That's perfect. Like, having that, like, a team of people like that to hype you up at all costs, like, all the time is, like, it's a good feeling, you know? Like,
It's awesome.
it really
Yeah.
shows how, like, just mature that you guys have become, especially throughout the years, you know? And this is, like, the best question in my opinion. But in your opinion, like, what makes a team, like, really a team, you know? Like, the deep parts of it. Like, what completes a team?
For me, I think it's all about mindset. I really do. I think it's how well do you have common goals? How well does everyone work towards those common goals? And I think constantly like bringing it back. I think we try and do a good job every week of like, hey, here's what we have going on this week. Here's how we're going to attack each day to the best of our ability. And so it's about like getting into that space of focus and like Nora was mentioning positivity. You know, like we try and keep it really positive and think about how we can grow. And again, like Kailan mentioned, you know, if something doesn't go our way one week, we try and get better for the next week. So I think it's really about the space that we're in, you know, mentally of how we can constantly get better and grow.
It definitely does matter how you're viewing that situation. Like, if you're thinking like, oh, this isn't going to don't go so great, it's not probably going to go so great.
Right.
Like, walking in, jumping into like a situation with like a positive mindset really definitely does help.
Yes.
What you, Nora?
I'd say like just like the support, the love, like we're such a family to each other, and like we all trust each other, and it does show, like Kailan was saying, like if we're performing, like you can tell we all love each other, you can tell we've worked so hard, and I think that's really important. And I was gonna say something else. Kailan, go
We'll
and then
come
come back
back.
to me. Okay, let me think.
I mean, in addition to the mindset and the energy, I think a really big thing that we do well as a team is communicate. I don't think our team would be our team without the communication, and
100%.
it's not only like on the dance floor of like Nora said, of like helping people out and like correcting people in like the nicest and loving way possible, but also the outside of like organizing those team events and of like, oh hey, you know, we'll reach out of like, today was like not our best day, guys, like we love you, but like pick it up. And just like other little things of like, even when we see each other in the hallways, it's like so easy to just talk to your teammates because like that communication has kind of just built up really good friendships.
Oh,
So-
100%. Like Nora said, it's like you guys become a family. And I absolutely love that. It's amazing. But back what you said about communication. Communication is so important, especially when it comes to relationships, family, friends, whatever. Like, if there's no communication, nothing's going to work out. You know, like, you're never going to hear, like, the real side of it. You're never going to hear what other people think. Like, like, nothing's possible without communication. I think that's a great trait to have for, like, the whole team itself.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely enjoyed having you guys here. You guys did an amazing job. Like, that was amazing. I love talking to you guys and getting to know more of the team. But thank you guys so much for joining me. And that's it for today's show. Thanks to Marli Levin, Nora, Fink, and Kailan Gogerty. And thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Jets Pizza on Rand Road. And that will do it for this episode. I'm Chloe Manolis. And thanks again, and see you on the next episode.